What's going on, traders? It's Ricky with TechBot Solutions. Thank you guys for joining us for another live stream within our YouTube channel. I don't know, I kind of started on that one a little bit. So I'm not too sure if you guys watched the video that I uploaded yesterday, but I literally had it scheduled to upload at 1 o'clock, so right when the market opened. And I was trading Snapchat. I got in at 1707, and it was kind of getting really close to the support. It broke the support at 1703. And then at the end, right before the market closed, it went from like 17 because it actually was just exactly at 17, which it's done it numerous times before. It ended up going actually below 17, and then my stop loss got triggered. I cut my losses. It was a very minimal loss, but I had a very tight loss because I knew 17 was a very solid support. Now leading into today, Snapchat is at $16.20 or $16.25. So that is why I had my stop loss so tight. I knew that all I knew was that it never broke 17 before, and I know I've caught it numerous times on the rise from the bounce of 17. So all I knew was like I knew it had potential to come back up to 18. I didn't know if it was 100%. I knew there was some bad news when it came to Snapchat and kind of where it was heading, but I didn't know that if it was. All I knew was like it could break 17, and that's why I had my stop loss at 16.99. I explained everything in the video, and I wasn't going to actually upload it because I felt that what actually broke the support, so it kind of just doesn't really do anything for you guys. But I thought the breakdown on the whole thought process that I did for that specific video was very clear and very simple to understand. So regardless, like I said, you should never trade right based on anyone else's opinion, and I expressed that like twice or three times within the video. I really just wanted you guys to understand kind of like what I look for when it comes to swing trading. And regardless, when it comes to swing trading or day trading, I always have a plan and I always stick to it. And that's one of the biggest things is, regardless of what you're trying to invest in, you should always know where you're buying, where you're selling, and where you're going to cut your losses. Because even if it's a day trade or a swing trade, you might be a little bit more flexible or give it a little bit more cushion within the swing trade. But regardless of what it is, you guys have to understand that, if a stock isn't going according to plan or it's breaking certain supports that it's never broken before, I'd much rather cut my losses at a much, tighter position than having to write it down another, 80 cents. Because right now it's trading at 16.21 or 16.25. So I really do, and I mean this in the nicest way. I really do hope that you guys didn't make the decision to invest. I don't even think you guys could have, and that's really good that I think I uploaded it after the market opened. After the market closed, because once the market closed, then that's when the video went up. And it really didn't give anyone an opportunity, unless you guys can trade after market hours, to jump into Snapchat, other than if you already invested in Snapchat. So I just wanted to make that as clear as I could. But that's really just it. Let's go ahead and get this video started. And all right, it looks like you guys are talking a lot about a specific stock. So let's see. All right, so all of you guys are talking about the stock Yuma. There's a lot of people talking about HK and XTNT. So I'd be more than happy to perform a technical analysis on those specific stocks. I'm going to start sharing my screen. For those that are joining us for the first time, I usually dedicate about 15 to 30 minutes during the market, before the market opens. So this is pre-market hours. We scan for stocks, we identify potential, we plan out our trades, and then when it comes down to the market actually opening, we stick to our plan. If it plays out the way that we want it to, we get in where we want to, we sell where we want to, and then we cut losses and stuff like that. So that's the whole point of this live stream. I kind of just talk to you guys while you guys are trading. You guys ask me to do something, and then I'll do it for you guys if you guys are having trouble actually identifying potential or something like that. We have 3 rules within TechBot Solutions. I'm going to be sharing my screen while I do this, just because I say it all the time. But you should never trade a stock based on anyone else's opinion. You should only invest in what you understand, and you should always have a plan when it comes to trading. So always having where you're going to stop loss out. So very quickly, I'm just going to set some alerts. It looks like a 1640 is a resistance. It's actually picking back up. if I'm not mistaken. Snapchat is at, oh, yep, resistance at 1640, support overall 1626, 1620. The really scary thing about this is if you have access to pre-market hours, it really comes down to you understanding one of two things. A lot of people that held overnight, because this is a multi-billion-dollar company, are most likely gonna. I mean, this thing's down like 4%, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, about 4%. A lot of people are gonna start cutting their losses, and we might get a lot of, I want you guys to understand the whole point of like the reason like a price, and I'll make a video a little bit more about that. But the reason a price drops or increases is due to the demand. And if the demand isn't really there and there's a bunch of panic sellers and then they start selling off, then we're going to see a drop. And this actually might build a little gap for us day traders that we might want to get in at the low point and then ride it back up. Although Snapchat might not be a good long-term trade, that doesn't mean that it's not a good day trade, especially if we can get into the hype of all the panic sellers selling it off. Then we can catch it at the bottom and kind of sell off or sell back kind of where it peaks out at. So give me one quick second. I have to set an alert. I need to do something. Give me 1 second. I do apologize. Alrighty, so it looks like that resistance that we're talking about at 1640, it's still true. Looks like when it hit 1640, I had a pullback, and it's now seeing a downward trend. So let's move into the stocks that you guys were suggesting, and that's HK. So HK, based on previous close at about 450 during pre-market hours, and during aftermarket hours hit highs of 650, highs of 670, but a true support at around 650. It broke that support, had a huge drop. I'm guessing that's who went. Oh no, this is all after. This is all pre-market hours. Yeah. All right. Now it has a support, as you guys can see, at 625. This is really going to come down to how it plays out once the market opens. Not too sure if it's going to hold above this specific support. So if you guys see it had a previous support at about 640, I apologize. At a previous support at 650, and once it broke below 650, it had a huge drop, and then it started to rise again. But with this huge drop and picking back up again, that was about 2.5%. So although that's a very small margin, it is still, a potential day trade from top to bottom. But I'd really like to see that once the market does open, if there's going to be a series of panic sellers, they're going to just sell it off, and then we can catch it at the bounce. Or if this is going to be more of a momentum trade, and then it's going to break above 650, and we can see new highs based on this. So if we break above 670, we'd most likely be making new highs, and that's something that can be a little exciting. So let me go ahead and create an alert to see if it goes above, and then also if it goes below. All right, and then just to get a little bit of a better understanding on, okay, so yeah. So this one was actually a gap for a while. Nice. I think we've actually talked about this one before, and it's when it had this huge drop, set its support at 369, and then broke above 450 yesterday, or after market hours, and then just had a huge pop back up to 650. What I'm trying to see is these resistance points right here. So 650 was a previous support. So if you guys can see that right here, so previous support becomes new resistance. If it can break above the 650, then that's going to lead us up to that $7 resistance, as you guys can see right here, that it had before. So again, that's ideally what I'm going to be aiming for. So if we do get that break above 650, that could be a huge, it could be a pretty decent margin, especially for $6 stock. That's about 6 to 7 or 7 to 8%, and we just really need that push through $6.50. So this is good call on this one. Congrats for whoever found it. But I wish I can give you guys credit. So Erica, David, you guys just have you guys all did very well. It looks like you guys each have it in your own watch list. So that's funny how you guys continue to uh, put out the same ones. So X and what was it? XTNT. All right. All right. Again, way overpriced compared to. I mean, it looks like it does this from time to time. It gets very overhyped. The more pump and dumps, so they go up and then they come right back down to where they previously were trading at. What I'm seeing here was it's actually showing signs of like kind of like upward momentum. But again, whatever goes up, it keeps coming down and stuff like that. So um, these are just I personally like HK way more than this one because HK it was kind of a gapper and it's gapping back up to where it used to trade. This thing already shows that it's more on the oversold side. It's already hitting an old resistance based on previous highs that it did a couple days ago. And yeah, let's see. This is below $1, so this is not necessarily something that I'm used to trading. I try to trade stocks that are above $1, and that's just my specific criteria. So it looks like there's these like two little sets of margins and four if we count this one. But it seems like it goes in 5-cent increments. What I mean by that is based on yesterday and how it played out, it gapped all the way up to about 75 cents from its support here around 65. So that was good. Hit highs, hit a resistance at about 90 cents, saw pullback, hit the support here at 75, started to rise, and every single 5 cents it looks like at a support, broke the resistance again, then built a new support, and then broke the resistance, and then saw downward trend. And then now is holding above 75 again, seeing upward sense of upward momentum. All I see is that 75 would be a solid support based on the previous trend within 24 hours. Resistance would be around 85. So there's this margin from 75 to 85. That's about 13%. I would personally want to have if I were to trade this one, I would like to have a tight stop loss. It does seem like it does like little false pullbacks below the actual support all the way down to 72. So it really depends on how you want to trade this. I guess you can call this the support at 70 if you want to be a little bit more, if you want to give it a little bit more cushion to do its thing. But just know that that's 4% that you're giving up if you don't cut your losses at 75. And yeah, I mean that's huge when it comes down to. I don't know that I'm more of a conservative trader, so I don't necessarily like telling you guys, where you guys should cut losses. You guys are already, if you guys don't have a support, I did get a question yesterday, like Ricky, how do you know where to cut losses if you can't identify a support or a resistance? You should always have like a max loss in mind. And if this is one that you see that has potential, it's more of a momentum trade, and then it starts seeing a pullback, you should always have your stop loss or a trailing stop loss wherever your max loss is. So if your max is to lose, at most $50 or $100 a day, then that's where your max loss should be because that is your rule that you came up with. So, all right. Well, the thing I like about Yuma is it's starting to see signs of upward momentum. It looks like it played out. This all has to do with hype. Regardless of if there's actual news, they end up kind of coming back maybe to like the $1 mark or where they used to trade at. So just know that it's most likely not going to continue trading where it's trading at. So if you don't have a day trade, then you should probably not be trading this. And I mean that in the nicest way. It looks like Yuma has been on a consistent downward trend, just having this spike. It has these spikes before, and it's just not a good sign, right? RSI indicators indicating that it's way on the oversold side. I personally don't like Yuma. The only thing that I like right now is that it's above $1. I can identify 170 as a support. The reason 170 is because 170 was a previous resistance. If you get to see, it was struggling to go above 170. Went above it, is now coming back down. So it was seeing signs of downward trend. But then if it bounces and holds above 170, that can be, you know, an area where we identify it as a support. But it comes down to it breaking this resistance at 190. If it can break above 190 and $2, then we can make our way back up to this previous resistance here. But again, a lot of volume, a lot of high pass to be involved, and that's not necessarily something that you can plan for, but that kind of has to happen. So definitely more of a momentum trade for Yuma. I'm going to simply set my alerts. I'd like to follow up with this one. And a lot of people ask me, how is it that I find certain stocks? You know, how do I find all these stocks that I have in my watch list and that I talk about? There's multiple ways, and I've made multiple videos on actually how I find certain stocks. I mean, you can scan for stocks, so that's something that I was going to do. I can go to scan, and I can go to stocks that are, you know, from the range of $1 to $50, and the volume has to be, you know, $2,000 or more, or 2,000 and more. And my goodness, I hate this thing. And then previous close is 4% greater. I can scan for stocks, and then it will tell me based on, you know, current like pre-market hours, but you know what's actually meeting that criteria. Looks like we got HK, so that's good. Looks like we have FOLD. So this is a way that you guys can start adding stocks to your watch list that meet your certain criteria. Another way is within TechBot Solutions. We have these series of group chats, and a lot of people are talking about a lot of different stocks. What I simply do is, like, you know, one of our members is sharing his watch list. I can go ahead and search for those stocks, add them to my watch list. In no way does that mean that I actually have to trade these stocks, but it really comes down to understanding that as long as I just do the job of adding those stocks to my watch list, once it comes down to like either, you know, identifying potential in some of the stocks in my watch list or looking for certain stocks within my watch list, I can plan out and see if that specific stock has potential within my watch list. And it doesn't mean that I have to trade it. If it's complete trash and it doesn't meet any of my criteria, then I can remove it off my watch list. But if it's just not seeing potential at the current moment right now, then you don't actually have to trade it. So I just kind of wanted to talk to you guys a little bit, very briefly, on how I grow my watch list, because we have a lot of new traders that join us. So just thought I'd share that with you. Let's go ahead and take a look at Fold. I like that it's above $10. I know not everyone likes that, but I really do. So it makes it easier for me to manage my trades. Okay, so it used to trade at about $10, hit highs of 15 almost. So it's seen a resistance at 15. Seeing somewhat of a support. So if you guys could see, when it was coming up, it had a resistance slightly at $13, broke above 13, and then hit a resistance at 14.50. Saw a pullback, started trying to hold above 13, and now it's right above 13. So 13 would be, you know, the support, which is where we would hope that it would bounce. But again, we're not going to go based on hope, and we're going to wait for the market to actually open. Looks like we have about 2 minutes and 52 seconds for it to actually open. So if it holds above 250 and it starts to see an upward trend and it breaks this resistance at 1350, then we can potentially make our way back up to 1450, which gives us a nice little margin to squeeze through. So just thought I'd share that with you. And let's go ahead and see if, yeah, 13, what is that? No, that's actually $13 flat. So it's still holding. I really want to just get into something that's showing, you know, consistent signs of upward momentum. Snapchat is still looking like trash. No offense. But yeah, continues to bounce here at 1620 and it's seeing a resistance at 1640 again. So let me see what you guys have to say. Am I using Wi-Fi? Well, yes, it's my computer. So I am Ryan. Gold had a strong pre-market. I agree. See the Ameritrade yours. What platform are you using? Yep. Thank you for that, Robert. Appreciate that, Lucky. I really do. Hope you're enjoying it. Hope you're learning something. But I'm just going to go down the list. Let's go ahead and look for AMD. AMD, I always look for the pullbacks during the market open, just like how it played out yesterday. Let me see, go to a 3-day analysis. So what I mean by no, 3 days never work. What I mean by pullback is it's been shown consistent signs of upward trends, but during the market open, usually, not always, but it sees a little bit of a pullback and then it starts to rise, a little bit of a pullback starts to rise. It didn't see this when it actually bounced very well, and it held very well above 1320. It saw a very slight pullback and then continued to rise. So that's really what I'm going to be looking for. It looks like it's already gapping up, just like it's done before, right before the market opens. There's usually a lot of people that just try to lock in profit. The demand might not actually be there, and then it sees somewhat of a little bit of a pullback. Understanding that, if I can catch it at the bounce and then sell it, let's say at 14 today, I would really need to buy it in somewhere around, let's see. So it looks like yesterday it hit like where the old supports were. So I'm guessing it's probably going to try to hit 1360. If I can go from 1360 to $14, that's 3%. Nothing huge, but again, these small profits but consistent profits are really what help you guys out in the long run. So I just want to make sure that I talk about that. If you guys aren't a part of TechBud Solutions already, again, the link is down in the description. And once you guys get accepted, within the top pinned post within the TechBud Solutions Facebook platform, you'll have access to all the different group chats we have available. So feel free to click. Again, it's a free group. And I do want to thank you, for 30,000 subscribers. We just broke that yesterday, so I thought I'd share that with you guys. Snap went last blow. Yeah, I know. Claire Diaz. Let's get it, guys. Let's see. Ooh, Snapchat just straight dropping. Just like we said, a huge sign of panic sellers. Again, the demand not being there is most likely going to break below 16. Or try to get very close to 16. So this could build a really nice margin, getting really, really close. So I'd like to actually like to see if we could, if I can. AMD is experiencing the pullback. Not a really big pullback. There we go. And it bounced. We got pretty close. We called out the pullback around 1365 because of the pre-market support, but it's already climbed back up, and it's back up and it's climbing. Resistance at around 1385. So Snapchat, oh look, held right above $16. Will it break below 16? Guys, if it breaks below 16, this is gonna be real bad news for Snapchat. And this is the funny thing, like these CEOs, based on what I know, they don't take any like true salary. Oh, barely holding. All right. Do we have a rise, a bounce? I'd like to see a break above 1610 before I decide to jump on in. All right, we're in. No. Let's see. Alrighty. Guys, AMD hit that same resistance that we called out. HK went last or below 16. Shoot. All right, this is what it comes down to, like not overwhelming yourself. So it broke support. HK is now on a downward trend. It's going towards something that we're, it's just having a huge amount of panic sellers. Is now at 16, 17. It's dropping way too quick for my own preference. Is this something that we can watch and wait for the bounce and then start to try to sell for a profit? Let's actually see. until it starts showing like 2 solid candlesticks. I actually see more potential for profit, a quick in and out on this one. Snapchat does seem a little bit easier to manage because I know the support's at 16, so I can manage my risk a little bit easier. But this thing, once it starts breaking, I think I'm going to stick to HK. So let me get my Robinhood, my Fidelity app open and wait for the break. Let's see. All right, so we know that the support's at 1615 based on the current support. It's breaking 629, and that's what we want to see. We want to see the break above 630. 630 was a previous resistance during pre-market hours. It looks like it is seeing that it's not breaking it. It's not holding above. So AMD now seeing somewhat of a pullback, hit that resistance just like we called it out. Crap, didn't mean to click it. It has a 1390. All right, no, it's not seeing exactly what it is that we want, and that's for it to start gapping up a little bit. Like we definitely don't want to invest something on a downward trend. We want to see the break. JNUG, this is what I wanted to see then. JNUG had an amazing day yesterday. And what I saw during pre-market hours was that it had a support at 1590. So can we get a bounce at 1590? I just want to stay up to date. Dude, I'm just really, all right, Snapchat is gapping up. Guys, we called this one out perfectly. It's gapping up from 16. First resistance, again, resistance during pre-market hours was at 1640. So understanding that the resistance is most likely still going to be at 1640. JNUG fell below 1597. That's in a downward trend. It's not climbing up. So it's approaching. It has a lot more volume. This is actual market open. So does that mean that the 1640 resistance is still going to be valid? Doesn't necessarily mean that that's really what's going to hold it back, but it still means that during pre-market hours, that was a valid resistance. It looks like it's already experiencing a pullback. Wow, all these stocks are just dropping. And again, you definitely don't want to. Okay. All right, these are just not playing out the way that we wanted to. So I'm really glad I didn't make the decision to jump on in. I'd like to wait for about 2 to 3 green candlesticks for it to start showing signs of upward momentum, and then maybe for a pullback and then get in there. Snapchat's still doing very well. I think Snapchat was one that I missed out on. It was very minimal, 2%, but that's consistent profit. I don't want to minimize that. 2% to 3%. Locking that in consistently is like ideal every single time. So I want to make sure that for you day traders, especially if you guys are able to do that or have the opportunity to do that on the daily, that's huge. 100%, that's huge. So missed out on that one. I thought HK had a little bit more potential just because it's a smaller cap stock. It's $6, about almost 1/3 of what the actual price value of Snapchat is. So I thought it'd be easier to get in and out of this one because of the volatility. But it's just not showing good signs of upward momentum. This thing's just dropping, and that's not anything that you want to invest in. I don't want to buy in right now. Just, I mean, $6 might be a support, but just because that's a support, realistically, I want to lock in about 2% profit, and I would need it to 2 to 3%. So that would be around 620. So if we can get a bounce at above 6, but again, I'm not going to just go based on like, oh, I hope that it stays above 6. So I really want to start seeing those signs of upward momentum, and I don't necessarily see any of that. Let me know what you guys are trading. ARNA. I'll be sure to analyze that one for you. ARNA. Great call. Support was based on what I see, there's a support sign during, it experienced a pullback during market open. That was the same support that it had during pre-market hours. It broke the resistance here about 26 or 26.75. It is making new highs. It's pretty much going to where it was before, and that's huge. This is already up, I think, from top to bottom 10. What the heck? 7%. So that's huge. So if you're just starting off and you call that one out, then congrats to you on that specific trade. AVEO. AVEO, that thing's at support, so you can definitely tell that or see that. Volume is very low. That's not necessarily something that I want to see. But it looks like there's a support at 295, a resistance at about 315. So it builds this margin. Even this resistance at about 310, about 4.68%. I have a request within our group chat. Wow, these things are just dropping. Within our group chat, and it's to analyze CEI from our buddy Muba. So I'd be more than happy to. Again, volume is very low, less than $1, not something that I focus on at all. People ask me multiple times, why is it not that I don't trade low cap stocks, so less than $1? First of all, the volume is not always there, as you guys can see here, so it might be more difficult to get in and out of a stock when no one's actually there to buy it. Understanding that it's more difficult for me as a conservative, like more of a technical trader, to manage my risk. This is a 3-cent stock, so if I lose 1 cent, I lost 3.33% already. That's too big for, my profits are on average 3 to 4%, even 2.5 to like 3.5% per trade. Therefore, if I day trade like 3 or 4 times and take a loss of about 3.3%, that's just too big. JNEG fell below 1580. So if JNEG is going down, I like how you guys requested that. If JNEG is down, then that means JDST is up. David Watts, I like that. You're on the, is this gonna hold above? Let's see. This thing is hitting a resistance at 74. If this thing breaks above 74, then yeah, we definitely don't want to hold JNEG. And it's still rising. Yeah, this thing's still rising. So if JDST is still rising, that means JNEG is still dropping. So let's see how that plays out. It should be breaking the support at 1585 or 1580. If you guys are asking, like, why is it that, like, I know that this thing's going to go down. JDST and JNEG are complete inverse ETF. So when one goes up, the other one goes down. It looks like it yesterday had a resistance all day yesterday, pretty much at around this area right here. So you guys can see how it played out. It was struggling to go above 73.80. It's now seen a pullback, so JNEG must be going up. So it is holding. There's a support at 1580, so that's decent. But it's not really breaking these resistance at 1590 and stuff like that. And that's really what we needed to start breaking before it starts seeing signs of upward momentum, or we really start seeing that it's starting to gap up. Wait, do we have that break? Let's see my potential. If I get back in and sell back at 625, still very small margins. It's just Muba says, thanks, Ricky. Of course, man. AMD all the way back at support. So you guys can see it's back. Back at support, 1665. I think I can get a tight little squeeze on this one. Oh my goodness, that's 1.81%. It's not worth it. Snapchat back. Here it hit a resistance. It didn't actually hit the 1640, but that just shows you how true that support of resistance is at 1640. So I hope that helped out some of you and maybe followed with a stop loss. That's why I always say, it's very important after you get above 2% profit to follow with a trailing stop loss, because it's better to lock in profits than to stop loss out. But it looks like it's getting closer to the support, and that's not necessarily something that you want to see. RAD is still not showing signs that we want to see. I'm going to set my alerts when it breaks above this. It's definitely been an exciting morning. I haven't actually, entered any specific position, but it's definitely been an exciting morning. JNUG is actually, it broke above 1590, so that's good. So JDST must be down. Just the margins aren't there. 2.73, yeah. So it looks like it's about to break above $16. Hitting highs, volume is extremely low, volume's low, volume's low. Drop, rise, Pandora. Hitting the resistance at $9, so. Again, resistance at 1,000, it's bouncing here. Margin's too small. Thought the support was at $12. It looks like it broke the $12 support today. Car's just consistently been on a downward trend, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, that thing's horrible. Plug still holding above $2. This thing always holds above $2. It's pretty funny. Has a margin at 210, 5% potential. Just have it for a day trade. Volume's extremely low on this one as well. Goodness. Has gone lows. Set lows of 202, starting to rise back up. 208 is a resistance. Margin is 3.47%. Nothing's in it, and I feel like right now that I'm trying to force a trade, and that's not necessarily something that you want to ever do. So I'm going to take a step back, and I'm going to continue scanning for stocks and see what it is that I find. Snapchat again still holding. This thing's still not being able to break above $16, so seeing a pullback. I'd actually really like for this to I don't mean this for anyone that's actually in this position, but I'd like JNUG just because I called this one out yesterday. I called it when it broke above 1540. I got in, I sold and locked in profits at 1570, and it continued to rise. So I feel like it owes me something because I called it out and I missed out on that margin. Realistically, I know that it doesn't, but I'd like for it to drop again, start gapping up. And once it does, then I can set up a plan and maybe hold it for a little bit longer. But what are some things that I can talk about today that might be a little bit different? Let's see if you guys have any questions, and if not, then I'll kind of end the live stream here. DCTH breaking out. DCTH, I necessarily don't even like this stock. No, that's all complete momentum and let's see. It's going to be the resistance at $20, and then the pullback all the way down to 14. So the margin for profit is much less for than the margin for loss. So yeah, it's already pulling back. Let's see, 19, 1920, 1929, 19.5. All right. Yeah, not enough for me to get in. True. Can I analyze ALOW? Of course, Adam. ALO. I don't know why I said W. I don't know if I said that. All right. Volume isn't really there. Let me see for. Yeah, volume isn't really there. Looks like it's hitting more of resistance. Looks like there's a slight resistance at 420. Support more around the 390. Seeing more signs of downward trend than actual upward momentum. So I like to get a little bit closer to the support. But if it does break above 420, then we can take a little bit of a further step back and see when it this thing definitely has margin to gap up, so definitely does have upward potential, but it needs to start breaking resistance before I actually make the decision to jump on in. So great call. It looks like this one definitely does have potential, but we need to get above this resistance, and we need that volume to really start spiking up, or to be a little bit healthier. So Snapchat back at near support, AMD back at near resistance, JNUG back down, bouncing again at the same thing, double bottom. So can we get and break above? So it's probably going to try to break above 16 again, but that's really just it, guys. How do you get the charts to appear? Just by clicking. I actually learned that by one of our buddies. His name is Connor. He's one of our momentum traders within TechBot Solutions. Please follow him or subscribe to him if you guys haven't done so already. As well as Bradley's an OTC stock. He's the one that leads the OTC stock group within TechBot Solutions. So be sure to subscribe to him. They're part of the team. He just uploaded another video yesterday. Check him out. See if you guys like what it is that he's sharing. He's very knowledgeable about what it is that he's talking about the OTC stocks. So if that's ever been a market, same with Connor. He's been doing very well with his videos and more of momentum trading. So if that's something that you guys like to look for, again, be sure to subscribe. And then the Bo Bros, just some friends. If you guys didn't watch my video yesterday, I think for those that always look for swing trades, but definitely enjoy yesterday's video, as well as we have a series of helpful videos for those that have never been into our YouTube channel. That I think can answer a lot of frequently asked questions on like how to identify potential, finding the best stocks, how to use a stop loss, and really goes down to almost every single frequently asked question. So if you've ever, in a sense, thought of something, then just type like the key terms here in the search bar and then put my name next to it and see if I made a video on it. So that's really just it. I'm going to end the live stream here, guys. It looks like JNUG is actually breaking the support. I'm going to set my alerts. And I want to catch it at the bounce. So I'm definitely not going to force a trade, but that's it. So I'm going to dedicate a good amount of time to answering and kind of catching up on some DMs that I've received within the group chats. Again, the best way to reach out to me is once you're a part of TechBot Solutions, within the TechBot Solutions group chats, as in the GroupMe group chats, feel free to direct message me there. I have a series of number that I have to catch up today. That doesn't mean that I won't get to yours, especially if you message me. Just make sure that the questions that you ask are ones that aren't already answered within our Facebook group or isn't a video that I've already explained. So I just appreciate that, buddy, and I encourage you guys to ask any questions and hope that I can actually assist you. So I hope you guys have an amazing day. Remember, keep planning out your trades, keep planning out and doing the best you guys can do in everything it is that you guys choose to pursue. And if you guys have any questions, just again, please feel free to let me know, and I'd be more than happy to assist. So I can't thank you guys enough for each and every one of you guys taking time out of your day and dedicating it to watching my video. It really does mean a lot, and it looks like breaking 30,000 subscribers. I'm really having a positive impact, so I hope you guys see that. So hope you guys have an amazing day. Like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. One of my alerts just went off. Let's see what it is. Take care, guys.